Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will show you how to summarize values in PivotTable, and I will show you how to change the sum of gross revenue values to average, count, max, minimum, and so on. So this is a example of a PivotTable which I am going to work on now. So, so in Excel, by default, whenever you create a PivotTable, by default it will show you the sum value, right? It will directly show you the sum value. So for example, if I add any other column here, it will automatically give me the sum value. It will not show you any average or count. So for example, if I add color black and white here, so you can see here it is automatically calculating the sum of gross revenues here, right? It is calculating the sum and giving me the grand total, right? So in order to summarize our values differently, so if you want to know the average of gross revenue, and if you want to know the count of gross revenue, then uh, so, so there is a technique in pivot table which I will show you now. So before understanding that, first let us understand how the sum of gross revenue is actually calculated. So sum is nothing but addition, right? Adding multiple entries that creates a sum. So similarly, for this genres, under action genre, suppose we have five movies. So for example, movie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we have five movies under action genre. So how we calculate the sum? We add each of these entries to get the final sum value. So here our final sum value is 15, right? So that is how the sum of gross revenues get calculated here, right? Now, in the same way, if we want to calculate the average of gross revenue, right? So like again, I'll take the same example. So under average, under action genre, we have five movies. One, two, three, four, five. Now to calculate the average of these five movies, average gross revenue of these five movies. So this is how we calculate it, right? We write down the average formula and we take the average of this gross revenues of the five movies which are having the highest gross revenues, and we take the average of it. So now we got 3 as the answer, 3 as the average, right? So uh, similarly in pivot table also we can summarize our values, right? So so let us see how we can do that. So before doing that, let us first sort our column B values from highest to from largest to smallest, right? So to sort your values, first you need to right click on it and go to sort, and then click on largest to smallest. So here you can see the top five genres are having the highest gross revenue. Why? Because each of these genres are having highest number of movies that are produced, right? Because of the highest number of movies that are produced in these genres, the sum of gross revenue is also very high, right? So now let us change this, summarize this gross sum of gross revenue into average of gross revenue, right? So that is what we wanted, right? Now first let us take the copy this top sum of gross revenues. So here I've copied the top genres that have highest sum of gross revenues, right? Now let us uh, change this column B to average of gross revenues. To change this column into average of gross revenues, first you have to click anywhere in the column B section. So anywhere you can click. Once you click, then right click and then select summarize values options, right? So this is the option which you need to select. Then click on average. So here you can see that our entire values got changed here, right? So these were the values for sum of gross revenues. Now, but these are the average of gross revenue. Now let us copy the top 5 genres here and paste it here. Now you can see the difference in the values and also in the genres. Even though action, all these genres had the highest number of movies produced and they had the highest number of gross revenues, but when it comes to the average, these genres are having the highest gross revenue in terms of average, right? So that is the difference here, right? So you can see action movie was in the top when it comes to the sum of gross revenues, but when it comes to the average, it is below, right? It is in the fifth position. Similarly, comedy genre was in the second position, but in average gross revenues, it is nowhere in the list here, right? Similarly, adventure is in the third position. Drama is also not in this average. Crime is also not having the average of gross revenue, right? So that is how you can find the difference, find summarize your values, right? Now let us move on to the next step. So now that we changed our values from sum of gross revenues to average of gross revenues. Now let us add few more columns here. Now before adding columns, first let us uh, let us change this gross revenue. Let us add few more columns here. So I am adding gross revenue again here and also again gross revenue here, right? So let me add one more column. Right. Now let us change this column to again sum of gross revenues. Again right click anywhere in the column and go to summarize values and click on sum. And now let us change this C column to count of gross revenues. So go to summarize values by and then click on count. Now you can see we got the count of gross revenues. So count of gross revenues is nothing but, so 900 is nothing but it indicates that action genre has 900 movies produced. Similarly, comedy genre has 1016 movies produced, and adventure genre has 362 movies produced, and so on. Right? So that is the meaning of count. Now we have the sum of gross revenue, count of gross revenue. Now let us change the D column to average of gross revenue, right? So now let us change to average of gross revenue. So you can see we got the average of gross revenue, right? So you may be wondering if this average of gross revenue values are unique or not, right? So let us test it if these values are unique or not. So if we take the average of this and action genre uh, by dividing sum of gross revenues by count of gross revenues, then let us see what value we will get here. So is equal to sum of gross revenues by count of gross revenues. So what value did we get here? 75045,434, right? So here you can see 75045,434, right? So the values are perfectly matching, right? So there is no problem in any discrepancy. So the values are correctly generating, right? So if we do this average, if we do average for all the genres, it will take so much time, right? So, but when it comes to using the pivot table, within seconds we got the averages of all these genres here, right? So, so this is the best way of summarizing your values in pivot table, right? Now, now we summarize our values to sum, count, and average of gross revenues. Now let us change this to maximum of gross revenue. So once again, right click and go to summarize values by and click on max. So here you can see max of gross revenues. Max of gross revenues is nothing but the movie that has maximum revenue, a movie that has got the maximum gross revenue for under action genre, right? So, and this is for the movie that has got the maximum gross revenue under comedy genre, right? So that is the meaning of max gross revenue. And similarly, there are other summarization values which you can use apart from sum, count, average, maximum, minimum also you can use. So this is the minimum revenue. And so similarly, there are other uh, there are other values as well which you can summarize values like product. If you click on more options, you will find few more fields, few more types of calculations which you can use, right? Based on your requirement, you can use those summarization values here, right? So this is how you can summarize your values in pivot table. You're using this option here, summarize values option, right? So I hope you understood this feature of summarizing values in pivot table and how you can change your gross revenues from count to max and average. So if you have any questions regarding this topic, please drop your comments below. I will answer them. And if you find this video to be informative and useful to you, then please consider subscribing to my channel so that I can make much more interesting videos on Excel. Thank you.